So we're back in Texas. We're back near Sulphur Springs, and we're back with my good pal Terry Tate. Now today we're off to pigs again, but as you can see it's night time. Now we came a little while ago and we took a little piglet from this area with a crossbow. Now that piglet was one of a group of about 5 or 6 that had been kind of hanging around in this area. He'd already taken the boar and the sow and they kind of grouped in together, is that right?
Yes, sir. And I hope they're still hanging around. We can get a couple more of tonight.
Yeah, because this is a contract killing, folks. We're not just here for any old reason. We're here actually to try and pick up another one of those piglets, because somebody's actually put an order in for one.
Yeah, I had a farmhand that said he'd sure like to have a couple to eat.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to get them for him.
Cool. It's a little bit like when we're back at home with Kidder and Wildy. You get a little old lady come into Steve's butcher shop and she wants us to have 3 rabbits. So that means we've got to go out and shoot 3 rabbits. Although it's the first time I've actually been asked to go out and shoot 2 piglets before. But, you know, we know they're here. We're pretty sure they're here. You've got a feeder here, is that right?
Yes, sir. Have a feeder here. Goes off every afternoon and keeps them pretty close.
Yeah, well, when we came to take one with a crossbow, it was almost like clockwork. As soon as that feeder went out, they came running for it. It's almost as if they know what that sound means.
Well, they've lost their mother, so it's one of the big food sources right now.
Yeah, but pigs seem to find food wherever it is.
They know where every feeder is.
Yeah, I imagine they would. Well, we've got the Benjamin Marauder in .25 caliber, which is firing about 40 foot-pounds. Now, if you get up close enough, and I'd say we'll probably need to get within around 40 yards, then there's more than enough power in this Marauder to take it down. Now, I'm going to be taking a headshot if we can. We want to try and protect as much of the meat as possible. But the great thing about this particular rifle is not only has it got good terminal performance, it's also incredibly quiet. And that's the important thing. We need to try and get 2 pigs, not just the one.
Please.
So you need to point us in the right direction, Terry, because it's pretty dark out here at the moment. So where do we need to go?
We're going to circle around the truck and go right back this way.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much indeed.
Good luck.
After you.
We head out into the dead of night in search of piglets. Armed with a night sight NS200, I can see the foliage in front of me, but when I'm walking, I can't even see the floor beneath me. I tread carefully as I move forward, using the NS200 to find a path through the thick stuff and make my way carefully through the branches and bushes. I can hear signs of life somewhere in these parts, but finding a small piglet in the thick stuff isn't easy. Then I spot them. Amongst the thick branches they group together, but there's no clear shot available with all of that foliage. The piglets make a move and head further into the thick stuff, so we call it a day.
We've caught a few glimpses of them. They seem to like it in this area, but we just couldn't get a shot on them. The brush is quite low. We obviously can't see anything the night sight, although it's good for seeing eyes and distance. You know, when you've got foliage real tight up close to you, it's almost impossible to stalk in the dark with stuff this thick. I've nearly fallen in ponds twice. I got myself up to my knee in water once, so rather than bumbling around, all we're doing is pushing them around the same 20 or 30 acres. And I'm getting a bit tired of it, to be honest. We've come back to the tree stand that we were in before when we took the piglet with a crossbow. And although I'm not a big fan of waiting, I think if we go and head up and sit down and then just give it a couple of hours, hopefully they'll pass by in front of the feeder. And if they're not done by about 2 in the morning, we're going to head back and then come back here at first light. So see if I can get into a tree stand in the dark without falling out.
From up here, we can see a fair distance. It isn't long before the piglets begin to move around the edge of the pond, but they're still in amongst the cover. We've waited long enough tonight, and there's been no opportunity for a clear shot, so we call it a day, or night.
Well, we gave it a best shot. Now I've seen a few pigs come around, we've seen them under the bushes, but they just haven't stopped for us. They're kind of rooting around and it's really difficult, it's really, really thick in here, so I've had enough time sitting on my arse now. I'll grab a coffee, go to bed, get a couple of hours, and see if we can get here first thing in the morning. Pig hunting, even for little ones, can be hard work.
We come back in the morning and head into the tree stand. It won't be long before the sun will appear on the horizon and the day will break. With it, the piglets will start to move and feed before the day gets too hot and they lay up. No signs of movement yet, but it's still very, very early. Then we spot them on the edge of the pond. Still covered in the thick stuff, there's no clear shot. But as they begin to play and move, they head out into the open. One piglet hangs back from the group just a little too long, and I've got my shot. He's down immediately, but the others are long gone. So we call it a day and head down to collect our quarry.
Okay, so looks like we've managed to scare them all off. They meandered around for a bit, but they didn't seem happy once the sun came up, so they're off back into the thick stuff. We've got to piglet down, so let's go and have a look at it. So we have it, another little piglet. As you can see, the shot went in just behind its eye, and well, it pretty much died immediately, flipped up in the air, just went on the side, almost same as shooting a rabbit. Now funnily enough, that's probably about the size of some of the rabbits that we've shot over in South Africa with Gavin, but this one I think tastes a whole lot better. Now we put a lot of time in last night sitting here, but we just couldn't penetrate the thick brush that's in here. It looks a little bit more sparse today, but as soon as you get an IR on there from pretty close range, and it soon brightens up. But anyway, 3 hours sleep, but it was all worth it in the end.
And with that, it's time for some much needed sleep. Subscribe to Team Wild TV for the best hunting, airgun, gear and bow hunting videos on YouTube.